good people, and welcome to your favorite show, Chronicles La Familia. Welcome to your favorite show, Chronicles La Familia. I am your host, Magibi Kangai. In Chronicles La Familia, we bring you positive conversations around family, and we also have a song segment. Today on set, we have a young man who is breaking ceilings, who is making great moves, and it has made me think or ask myself, what was I doing at 21? What are you doing at 21, or what were you doing at 21? At 21, he's been able to make great moves, including meeting the president and 10 other people that are making a difference in their spaces. He also engages in training corporate and other institutions in the areas of leadership, entrepreneurship, and personal branding and communication. May God bless you and most welcome. So you're most welcome. It
Thank
is so
you.
good to have you on Chronicles La Familia.
Thank you.
You are how old?
I'm 21
Again?
years old. Yeah.
Only unajisumbua normal 21-year old.
hmm
The ones that we know
Yeah.
are either in campus and
Mhm.
then they will have money to just move around na cab na
Yeah.
labda na wanakula KFC. Kwani unajisumbua hivi vyote? Why do you want to make such a great difference?
I think our generation has been bred in a way that we are following patterns. And for me, I decided that there is a difference between success and greatness. And for me, my journey is to become great. And by becoming great, I mean leaving a legacy behind in life. By the time I'm out of this world, what will people say about me? Because look at some of the great people like Nelson Mandela. When he was living and now that he's not there, what are people saying about him? People are saying positive things, how he was able to change our generation. So I think for me, I'm pushing myself because the legacy I want to leave behind is when I become a parent,
Yeah.
my kids will say my daddy did this and that is why we are here today. So the things I never got to see, or rather, the things I haven't been, the things I haven't seen, and probably the things that my dad and my mom didn't do for me to
Yeah.
get a certain freedom.
Mm.
So I want to do those things for my kids and also for my next coming generation.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. So what is the big dream?
The big dream is to make sure that, okay, there's this thing I usually tell people that I want to become a billionaire by 27, and they usually ask me how. I tell
Okay.
them a formula of becoming a billionaire is by changing a billion lives. A formula of becoming a millionaire is by changing a million lives. How do you change a million or a billion lives? I think it's by, okay, let's look at some of the big companies in the country or in the world. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, maybe as you're seated here, there are like Coca-Cola products all around.
Yeah.
Today you'll go somewhere, you'll buy a Coca-Cola soda. Someone in Brazil, someone in America, someone in Asia, they'll do the same exact thing. So that is how they're changing people, or rather, like how people think, and probably how, the thing is just look for a problem and look for a solution.
Yeah.
Find where a problem is and find a solution. That is what Coca-Cola does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the whole thing with also Colgate, some of the greatest companies you can see. So if you want to become great, if you want to become a billionaire, look for a problem that is affecting a billion people and find a
Okay.
solution on how you can solve it.
So if
So
you solve that, you are definitely going to be
yeah,
a billionaire.
definitely.
So you want to be a millionaire or a
a
billionaire
billionaire.
at 27. And we are counting
Yeah, sure.
and we are cheering you on
Thank
because where there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
Utaweza.
Mhm.
So tell me, what do you do exactly in the marketplace what is that solution and what is that problem you've identified that you are bringing solutions to?
Okay, so I'm a personal branding trainer. Apart from that, I'm also an author. So I've written a book. It's called A Mindset of a Billionaire. It doesn't talk about money. It talks about a poor kid with a rich dream.
Okay.
And also in terms of personal branding, I teach people, and mostly can be a corporate, can be a company, can be an individual, on how to grow themselves. There is a rule I have, the 10x rule. The 10x rule contains of three things: the first 10 meters, the first 10 seconds, and the
Yes.
first 10 words.
Yes.
So the first 10 meters is about how you dress,
Yeah.
because before they hear you, they must first see you.
Yes.
And then now from there, the first 10 words is about, okay, the first 10 meters is about how you dress. The first 10 words is about your communication. And then now the first, I would say the first 10 meters, the first 10 words in the
Yes.
first 10 seconds.
Yes.
So the first 10 words is about how you communicate. And then the first 10 seconds is about your aura.
Okay.
You know, I can be naweza kuwa nimevaa a good suit, but when I get close to you, I'm not like
Ukiongea
nikiongea, it doesn't even make
inaenda
sense.
nini
Yeah,
ya
so like it's more of aiko proportional in a way. So
eh,
you're like, no, this guy's not making sense.
mhm,
And sometimes I feel like apart from that also, there is something like when I got close to you now, the way I greet you, the way I smile can either attract you to have a conversation with me or not. So I think those three things, and also how do you brand yourself in different spaces, let's say in the marketplace, mostly in the corporate world and outside the corporate world, how do you approach people? So I think for me, that is what I really want to do, because at a young age, at 21, the people I've been able to meet, and I didn't just meet them. Okay, for me to be here today, it took you to watch my videos and see what I have done for me to be here.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for that, maybe
You
I couldn't
wouldn't
be
be
here.
here.
Yeah.
True.
So I think it's how we package and brand ourselves. And you see, I'll use a simple example like a pizza. For a pizza, the product inside that box is worth 1,000 shillings. The box itself is worth 30 shillings.
Okay.
But would you eat a pizza, uletwe pizza bila box, for example, hautakula, because you don't know where this person ametoa hiyo pizza, but the packaging really matters. It's like a soda. Soda huwezi nunua ikiwa kwa glass. You'll have to buy it with the bottle, because the bottle attracts you more than what is inside. So what is inside is sweet, but how it is packaged makes sense. So I think for me, I'm teaching people how to package the whole idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having followed you, I have seen that you purpose to meet 10 great people,
Yeah.
and you have
Yeah, I
already.
have. Yeah.
When did you do that? Who are you? Whom did you want to meet?
Okay.
And how did you meet them?
So when the year started, I did a vision board, a big vision board, and nikafeel ni kama this thing is going to, like, I might or I might not achieve it within 12 months. That is, now I gave myself a track record. Yeah, the whole year. The first person I wanted to meet was the president. The second person was one of the greatest realtors in Kenya, that is Mwenda Dhuranira. Third person was the CEO of Mariadi Motors. The fourth person was the emeritus governor of Makueni County. And then the fifth person was the CEO of BBS Mall. The sixth person was the daughter to Dedan Kimathi. The seventh person was the emeritus CJ wa Kenya. Yeah, that is Willy Mutunga. So then apart from that, on my vision board, I wanted to have to gather 2,000 people for an event. So when I look at all those things,
So you wrote that literally?
yeah, I
on
wrote
a
it down
board?
on a
Okay.
board. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like, these are the things I want to achieve.
Okay.
So to start with, I achieved all those things by 30th of March.
Wow.
Yeah, I had achieved everything on that vision board
Okay.
between 3 months. So I was like, I think for now my whole year is done. So the thing.
So why did you want to meet them?
I think the reason I wanted to meet them is because I feel like sometimes as young people, kuna place tunakosea. Yes, we want money. Yes, we want to get at some places, but we forget that we need to go back and sit down with people who have been there before, so that they can be able to explain to us how it is done. Sometimes you have to go look for someone who can teach you the way. Akwambie hapa umefanya makosa, hapo hujafanya poa. The reason I wanted to meet the president basically is because the things I teach people on leadership, I usually teach people on 4 things: leadership, communication, personal branding, entrepreneurship. So I wanted some intel on leadership. That is why I wanted to meet the president. The reason I wanted to meet Willy Mutunga is because I feel like he also has a huge role in terms of leadership. The reason I wanted to meet Mwenda Dhuranira was because of real estate. I wanted to learn the field of real estate. How is it done? How can I be able to invest in this and this and that? The reason I wanted to meet the CEO of Mariadi Motors was because I felt like this can be an ideal person in terms of what I am doing, because he has a foundation into Maridadi Foundation. So I felt like if I can be able to partner with these people together for a bigger vision, it is possible. But I have to sit down and explain to them my journey. So that is why I majorly wanted to meet these people. And apart from that, I hosted an event, gathered 2,000 people. Something that I felt like it was impossible. So within 3 months, I had achieved everything I wanted to achieve, and I can say it's because of dreaming big. So that is why I usually tell people that when your dream is too big, some things are too small. Don't focus on people telling you no, it's not possible. Yeah, yes, it happen. Because I remember when I was nikiangalia vision board, I was like, hizi vitu ni impossible. How will I be able to achieve all this within 1 year? But I achieved all of them within 3 months.
Even as you speak, you make me remember Habakkuk 2,
Yeah,
chapter 2. Write your vision
vision
in
down.
bold and capital letters,
Mhm.
and so that the herald who hears it may run with it.
Yeah,
I think then we need to have a culture of writing down
yeah.
our visions, and then we leave it to God to make it, and then of course we put in the work,
Yeah,
and then we will see and whether He's not faithful.
Yeah.
And I believe He is faithful, and that is why you are able to achieve that.
yeah,
So behind this Nyambego that we see, I'm sure you come from a family.
yeah.
Would you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. When I usually introduce myself, I usually tell people my name is Brian Nyambego. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm a personal branding trainer, but above all, I'm a firstborn in a family of 6 kids. So, like, that is the greatest thing that I can say in my conversation, because sometimes I can talk to people about personal branding, I can tell people that I'm an author, but if I don't bring the aspect of family, then who am I? Because I feel like, okay, for me, my journey started when I was like, okay, yeah, when I was young, I wanted to become a pilot.
Okay.
My dad applied so many scholarships for me. Two of
You
them
got the
came by.
grades?
Yeah, I got the grades. Two of them came by, but I was like, no, I'm not going. My dad was so disappointed, but I was like, for me, I want to fulfill the bigger vision, and that is me becoming a personal branding trainer and an author. So yeah, I come from a family of 6 kids,
Yeah.
and I'm the firstborn. Being a firstborn comes with a lot of responsibilities,
Sure.
and but now I think growing up, I grew with both parents. Then now when I got to Form 3, that is, I think, for other countries, you're in grade 11. Yeah.
Okay.
So I lost my mom. I lost my mom. My sister was 3 months old. So when you look at that, and I'm a firstborn, so it's life started becoming harder than I thought. So I was like, how am I going to maneuver between all this? Because my mom, when I was growing up, my mom used to tell me, once you're done with school, I'll help you out in this journey of you becoming an author. So when she passed away, nilifeel ni kama um, like ameenda na kila kitu. How am I even going to start? So it was so tough for me, but I asked myself this: mami alini raise nikuwe a great person, so if I decide to give up today, my kids in the future will suffer. So I told myself, you know what, regardless of what has happened, just keep moving. Because I remember 2 months down the line, after my mother passed away, nearly go directly into depression. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to, like, those were some of the toughest moments in my life. But I said, if I can maneuver these moments, I think there is nothing else that I can't maneuver. So I think those moments passed, but
Let
I
me
was.
ask, what is the one thing that got you off of those moments?
I think it's believing that you know, if my mother brought me up, and she believed in me, as much as she passed away, she didn't go with everything. I am here. I'm the same, like, I'm the same person with the same dream. So the thing is, I have to make her proud. And during those moments, I remember in Matthew 7:7, it says, ask and you'll be given, knock and the door will be open. There are three verses I usually tell people about. Habakkuk 2:2, about writing a vision down. Then now, Matthew 7:7, ask and you'll be given, knock and the door will be open. Then now, lastly, there's a verse in Matthew, I don't know, Matthew 5,
Yeah.
talks about your confidence will be rewarded greatly. So I think for me, during that moment, it's about, I think, first of all, I'll say God,
Yeah.
because God is always there. God is the Alpha and the Omega. So at that moment, I really told God one thing, that God, if you get me out of this situation, and if you get me into those stages that I aspire to get to, I'll tell people that you're the same person who got me there. So you can get them there as well. So that is the first thing I did. It's more of like I made a covenant with God, and I told him, this is what I'll do. I think there is an event, Yasa Ole, when I was in stage, I told people, God got me here, so he can do the same to you. That is a covenant I made with God. Any stage I usually go to, I usually tell people that. And then another thing is believing in ourselves, or rather believing in myself. At that moment, I really said, as much as I can give up right now, yes, I can.
Yeah.
But
It's the easiest thing to do,
the easiest thing,
probably.
yeah. But I asked myself, one day I'll be a parent. What will I tell my kids? that really usually pushes me every single day. What will I tell my kids? When they ask me this, like let's say they ask me a simple question, Daddy, your fellow friends are high up in different ranks. Maybe some of them are businessmen, they've made it, but here you are. Mbona wewe huku hujafika penye umefika? So what will I answer them? That really keeps me pushing every single day. I want them to ask me a question like, Daddy, you've gotten in this place in business and your friends as well. How did you guys collaborate? How did you guys reach here? Without competition, but with collaboration. So I feel like for me that at those moments, that is what kept me going every single day. And the fact that I'm a firstborn, I have to take care of my siblings. So if I give up and I'm a firstborn, what are all the others going to do? Probably even as well giving up.
Okay.
So I decided that I'm going to keep pushing regardless.
Okay. So you got out of that place.
Yeah.
That seems like it was very
Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
And then what did you do?
I think from there, I just realized that I need to start off. There's always a time to step out. A time to step out, I mean that you can have your most darkest moments, but if you've seen that, this other thing about the light at the end of the tunnel. But sometimes we usually have people who take us through, like become the light in that tunnel. So for me, I decided that once I make that first step and I see the light, what I'll do is I'll make sure that everybody else sees it. And that is after that moment, I remember after high school, launched my first book. It's called The Mindset of a Billionaire. Then from there, I told my dad, okay, the first thing I told my father was, help me out in publishing this book. Then from there else, I'll handle myself in terms of my bills. If it's paying my rent, if it's paying my school fees, I'll do that as much as you can help me on this one thing. And he did exactly that. So I started off by first going to children's homes because I felt like that was a calling. So I started giving back. I visited more than 30 children's homes in Nairobi. If someone goes to Instagram on my highlights, kuna highlight ya mwisho kabisa. So I've like the journey of how I did all that. So from there, I think what I usually
What did you do in children homes?
so I bring together my friends. We'd probably raise some cash,
Yes.
buy some clothes, buy some shoes, take them to the kids and food. And but for me, apart from taking the food to them, I used to take that moment to teach them some things on leadership, on communication, like at least 30 minutes just to teach them. But as well as I was teaching them, I was also practicing before I go out there now to teach the bigger crowds, the thousands of people. So I started from children's homes. From there now, I went to schools. Started going to schools like ile kuenda bila kulipwa. I was just doing it for the purpose of passion. Then started like that, and then I think from high schools, campuses, and now right now at this moment I can do all of them: schools, corporates, like everything.
Yeah.
So I think there's always a point of starting off, and I think for me the starting point was the children's homes until where I've gotten today. I'm like, okay, things are possible. It's about how you decide to get out of that situation, because when you have tough moments, there are two things: you either get out of that situation bitter or better. So you either choose one. Everything is a two-way traffic. In life, you either become successful or not successful.
Yeah.
You either become rich or you either become poor.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way traffic. You have to choose.
Okay. Does age get in the way? Ukienda hizo corporate, does it get in the way?
That is why the first thing. Okay, I'll start with a simple story.
Yes.
Last year, I was teaching a corporate, and the youngest person in that room. Okay, there were about 15 people. The youngest person in that room was 27. They mistaken me because I'm the one who was teaching them. They mistaken me to be about 26. Okay, one of them said I'm 25, another one said I'm 26. I didn't tell them my age, but I started by telling them age is just a number, and then I started teaching them. By the time I was done, the CEO asked me a question. Okay, the CEO knew my age, but he wanted to confirm to them. Then he asked me, Brian, what is your age? I laughed. And then the next thing I told them, I am 20 years old. They were like, no way. I told them, yes, I'm 20. I think the whole thing is about the 10x rule that I have. How you dress, how you communicate, and how you present yourself. That is what matters. So when they realized that I'm 20 and I'm able to teach people who are even 60 years old, they were like, how is it even possible? So sometimes age gets on the way. Sometimes you'll go somewhere, probably a high-end corporate, and then they'll tell you, they'll be like, okay, they some of them at this point I can say most of them it's hard for them to say no,
Okay.
because they'll go check my portfolio, who have I been with, who have I talked with, and all that. So they'll be like, yeah,
Okay.
preferably you can take him.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember at those times when they used to say no, it's because most of them would be like, you're too young. Most of them will be like, can we trust him or not? It's like the same thing as a guy, when I can say as a guy, or probably just any man out there who's not married, if a man wants to approach a woman, the first thing is, it's a two-way traffic as well. When the man approaches a woman and tries to talk to them, if the woman says no, it's either two things. Number one, it's either this woman is engaged, or either this woman is like, okay, if I decide to say yes, this one goes all the way. You see, so it's a two-way traffic. So for me, I feel like, sometimes it's either someone has an engagement with someone, like let's say if a corporate says no, they have someone they trust. They're like, this person
Who
can do
does
a
their
better job than.
training? Mm-hmm.
Or either they're like, if we decide to say yes to this person and he does a good job, we won't preferably go for someone else. So the only thing we need to do there is a little bit of convincing. And that
Okay.
is what I usually teach people on communication, like convince people a little bit. So for me, yeah, people have said no a couple of times, but that didn't stop me.
All right.
By a fact that it's no is just like any other answer. It's like people saying yes. It's like people saying, like I'm usually a yes person. I will say yes to everything. But this season, we had a tour. We've done a tour for the past 3 4 weeks. So during that season, I learned a lot. I learned that, there are moments to say no, there are moments to say yes. And when it comes to a point of saying no, just say no openly. Say no, I can't
Don't
be
go
able to.
around
Yeah,
the
don't go
bush.
around the
Okay.
bush. Just say no, I can't be able
To do
to
this.
do this. Or maybe if I can be able to do this, would you be able to do this and this and this? So be straight up, and don't make promises that you can't attend to.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that is the biggest thing I've learned.
So
Yeah.
how do you handle disappointments? Because I'm sure
I
you've
have.
been hit by some. I've realized this people with very big dreams,
Yeah.
like we in Chronicles La Familia. There are times you feel like there's no much strength to go
Yeah.
on. How do you deal with that?
I think for me, disappointments, sometimes they can get into your head. Because for me, I can say after the tour, I've been in the house for like a week, just trying to process myself again. Because during the tour, maybe like, yeah, it was all good, but there's a time whereby we had probably some disappointments. Some things maybe got into my head, and I was like, okay, how is this even possible? So, the only thing I usually do is I usually sit down and I remember, because okay, I'll tell you for a fact, I used to, there's a time I'd walk to go for an engagement somewhere, walking, literally walking, go for an engagement, not get paid, and go back again home. So I usually remember those moments and I ask myself, if I've been able to get here after all those moments, if I didn't give up, what else can stop me? Yes, it is a disappointment, but for me, disappointments, I usually check them as lessons. It's like a mistake. When I've done a mistake, I learn from it. I don't dwell on it. Sometimes it might get in your head, but what I usually remember is like driving a car. Time mtu anaendesha gari, if you focus on the side mirror sana, you will cause an accident. Yeah, a side mirror is there for purposefully looking at nani anakuja.
Safety
You see, for
purposes,
safety
yes.
purposes. Yes, most of the time you can focus on your past, uangalie kidogo. You know, it's not like I feel completely, maybe sometimes I'll remember how my mom used to be good to me and all that, and I'll feel like, I wish she was here. That is the past, but sometimes I will say, yes, I wish she was here, but you know what, I can do better than this.
Okay.
So like we need to focus mbele sana mostly, and just side mirror kidogo, yes, but we focus on the future. So for me, that is how I usually handle my disappointments, just by learning from them.
Okay. So have you ever gone to a meeting and things didn't work like you would have expected?
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
I've gone to, okay, I'll start with probably my personal meetings.
Yes.
I've done, there's a time. Okay, sometimes people see the big things,
Yes.
but it's like more of, there's a difference between the story and the glory.
Yeah.
When I did the event at MKU, there is the glory part of, yes, we gathered this number of people, but the story part of, The event was expected to start at 9 a.m., but the event started at 11 a.m. By 9 a.m., we had like 5 people in the venue. Venue had 2,000 people because it was raining all the way
Yeah.
until 11. But by 11, we had like 1,000 people who were at the venue. So I can say for me at that point, I was like, oh, event it as in Ikiflop, man, it's going to be crazy. All the speakers showed up from RB, from the speakers who came in from Ghana. We called Ndinyoro to come to speak about leadership. So all of them came. I was like, okay, imagine all these speakers being there and there are no people in the venue. So I think, yeah, and sometimes, sometimes it's been crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's
I know there are finances involved in the planning.
yeah.
So how do you get that?
For finances, I can say sometimes it's about partnerships. There is this thing about competition and collaboration. People at the bottom, okay, people at the bottom usually fight a lot. People in the middle compete a lot. People at the top collaborate. When I have an event, I'll come and tell you, Magibi, I have this event, and I feel like you can come in handy at this point. Would you want us to collaborate? Because next time when you have an event and you need people to come for the event from my end, I'll make it happen for you.
Okay.
Make it happen for me this time. So I think it's more on collaboration. Collaboration really means a lot, and maybe you can approach a company. Some of them might not give you money, but some of them will give you the services. So the services, probably you needed money for the services, they'll give you the services. So sometimes for an event, yes, for me as a young person, I'm using my age as a, like, okay, I'm using my age to get what I want, because I feel like sometimes I was today when I came here, I was talking to Olele Saolele.
Yeah.
Then I told him next year I'm like, sometimes I usually nakogana easy crazy thoughts. I was like, what, by the way, naweza host event Ulinzi Complex na nigather 10,000 people, kaniangalia. Nikamwambia yes, it's possible. The only thing I need to do is just start planning early. As much as I wrote the vision board ya this year nikakuwa possible, bado hata next year naweza anza kuandika sahi na ikuwe possible. So I think it's just by collaboration. That is what I usually do. I approach different companies with different motives. It's if my event is about leadership and entrepreneurship, I'll go to corporates that majorly focus on the entrepreneurship side. How can they be able to gain from my event? If my event has 2,000 people, KCB watagain aje, Equity watagain aje. What, like, before they fund me, what will they gain? It's more of value for value. So that is what I usually look at.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let me take you back a little bit. You told us you met with the president.
Yeah.
10 seconds, 10 minutes, 10. What did you say? 10.
The first 10 words.
Yes.
The first 10 seconds.
Yes.
And the first, like, okay, the first 10 meters, 10 words, 10 seconds.
Yes. What did you tell him?
Okay, first things first. We were supposed to have an event this October.
Yeah.
Which, okay, we are still looking into it. Apart from the protests and everything, they disrupted our planning. So we were supposed to have an event this October, and he was supposed to grace our event.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's something that when like the first time when I met him, I think it was during the period of I think the whole thing about the housing is your stories are housing. So that's the day I met him. So the first thing I remember I told him was, would you be kind enough to grace our event in October? Then he was like, where were you going to host it? We told him where we want to host it and everything. Then he was like, yeah, good. Because getting to him was not also like an easy thing.
I know.
I had to get someone who, okay, sometimes I believe that getting to someone like the president is not hard. You just know someone who knows someone who knows someone. So the only thing you need to do is just make a call to this one makes a call to this, if they're kind enough. And I think for me, I had people who were kind enough to give me that network. And yes, but we're still underway to look at how we can be able to do that. So I think for me, the major thing I told him is, if you can be kind enough to come and grace our event and talk about his leadership journey, because I feel like he's had such a great track record in terms of leadership. There is no election he's ever lost.
Wow.
So when you look at that track record, it means there is there's something someone has. So the only
There's
thing you have
something
to
he does. True.
Yeah. So you need to sit down with this person and have a conversation and know, how does he manage his time? How does he manage his, like to just share his leadership skills. That is
Mm-hmm.
all we wanted.
All
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
Nyambego. Your siblings
Mm-hmm.
see you making rounds in the
Yeah.
media.
Mm-hmm.
Wanakuonangaje?
Okay, for them, like I'll still remain that brother.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, as much as people will call me and tell me kuja event, brother yangu akinipigia simu saa hii ataniambia niaje, uko poa, nataka kitu fulani. For them there is no protocol. They're like, they still know me as their brother and everything, but still, they when they usually look at me, they tell me there's something that my father usually tells me every single day, that you've come from far, you're going far. It only depends on the decisions that you're going to make. So make the right decisions, whether 1% better or 1% worse. You'll get there. Trust yourself and trust the journey. And for my siblings, every single day, I remember when I was starting off my, when I made my first logo, yeah, company. It's me and my brother.
Wow.
We sat down, we made the logo together. So I think for them it's more of they usually watch the journey, but because they are almost finishing school, once they're done with school, I'll start working together with them. So they usually see they usually watch the journey pole pole as it goes, and my prayer and my hope is that I'll keep making them proud every single day as they usually see me. Yeah, there are people who see you as the icon. Ni kama sasa, let's say today the people who are watching you, they see you as an icon, but when you go back home, your kids see you as mommy. You see,
True.
they don't see that icon. They see mommy, the mother who cares about us. Them, So there's two different sides of everything.
Very
Yeah.
passion.
Mm.
So what keeps you grounded?
For me, I'll keep saying it. I think for me, it's God. uh, the fact that God got me from the tough situations. Sometimes even I can say probably the past 1 week, yes, I've had my ups and downs here and there, but still at those exact moments, I remember that it's the reason I'm here. It's because of God. The reason I'm able to wake up and go for an engagement, it's because of God as well. So I think for me, the whole thing is about number one, God. Number two, believing that dreams are unbreakable regardless. Dreams are unbreakable. If you have a big dream, I think, um, for us to be here today, this started as just a mere, like an idea. Without the camera, without the crew, like without you just started without the mics.
Yeah.
You were just someone, you were like, better, I can do this and I can be able to impact this number of people. From an idea to sitting down with your team and telling them, this is what I want us to do, how can we be able to do it? Them coming up with ideas, buying the
Vision.
equipment,
Okay,
then
yeah.
from there the whole now we're here.
Yeah.
A lot of episodes down the line we're here. So I think for me it's more of believing that dreams are unbreakable regardless of what. The only thing you need to do is just put in the work. Put in the work every single day. And that for me is what, like, number one, God, number two, hard work, number three, family.
Okay.
Family is the, like, family any day. Because at my lowest, my grandma will call me. At my lowest, my auntie will call me. At my lowest, my dad will call
They
me.
got you.
They got, like, anytime, and they'll tell me, ukifeel ni kama huko nje vitu zimekuwa vile zimekuwa, you know what to do. You can always come home. Like, when you hear such a statement, you're like, regardless of what happens, niko na place ya kwenda. Okay, sometimes it sounds like a plan B kidogo, ile yenye uko zile za sote nikifail naweza enda home. But for me that doesn't sound like a plan B. It sounds like I have people who care about me.
Regardless.
Nairobi bana, kukuwa na mtu mwenye anakwambia ukifeel ni kama imekuwa mbaya, we kuja tu home, ni ngumu. But if you have family, treasure them a lot, because for me I feel like people ask me, do you have any regret in life? I usually tell them I don't have any regrets. But basically I feel like, when my mom was around, I didn't tell her, sorry, enough times that I love her. Like, mommy, I love you. Like, even if it means like me repeating every now and then, ninge repeats. But I feel like, when you have
lost that, so you're taking advantage
yeah,
and taking time to do that
yeah.
now.
So when you have family, when you have people who care about you, just, on a random day, you just tell them, you know what, I love you, thank you for everything that you're doing for me. So when your parents, your grandparents tell you that, you know what, if you feel like things don't go the way you want them to go, you can always come home. Sometimes my grandma will call me na niambie, I know you, si nimekulea tangu kuwe mtoto, hii vile unaongea kuna kitu mbaya.
Wow.
So I'll go ahead and open up na nimwambie by the way shushu, unajua ni vitu hazijakuwa zikienda poa. That day she'll pray for me, the next day things are okay. So family is always very important. So I think for me those are the three things.
God.
Number one, God. Number two, dreams are unbreakable regardless, believing in yourself. And number three, family.
Okay. So you said that one of your dreams is to be a billionaire by 27.
By 27.
There is a bigger dream. There is a bigger one now beyond 27. What is it?
Beyond 27 is I think having a family.
Yes.
At the end of the day, having a family and making my family proud, making my kids proud. And then the bigger dream is to make sure that as well that wherever I go, wherever I step, wherever I stand to speak, I share the word of God.
Wow.
And tell them that he got me here, he can get you here. He can get you there. So the same thing I'll say on this platform, that God got me here, he can get you here. So regardless. Yeah, so it's for me, I think that is the bigger goal, to make sure that wherever I go, I share the word of God. And also to make sure that I impact the world at large. I'm not focusing on impacting the whole world.
Yeah.
You know, like
what is your target?
My 0.001%. 0.001%
of the world,
100%.
Of the words, what is it called? Of the words,
the larger group, the whole world. If it's 100%, let's say probably the billions of people who are around the globe.
We are 7 billion.
Yeah. So
0.001%.
Ukipiga tu hesabu utajua what is my target. I'm not targeting like 100%. Simply because if you look at ukipiga hesabu ya 0.001% from 7 billion people, you'll realize that I'm not targeting 7 billion people. I'm targeting millions of people, a few millions.
Yeah.
And why am I targeting the few millions? Because I believe that, okay, I'll tell you for a fact, if I decide to become a billionaire today and I'm given a crowd of 4 million people and sell my books to the 4 million people at the price of which I'm selling the books to them, I'll become a billionaire, trust me. So I'm not focusing on the bigger number. I'm not focusing on impacting 7 billion. I'm focusing on impacting. Imagine if I can be able to impact 4 million people at a go, right? If those 4 million people, each one of them decides to impact 4 million people, how many people have impacted all the 7 billion people? Yeah. So I don't have to focus on the bigger number. I just have to focus on 0.01%.
All right.
Yeah.
So how can people get Brian Nyambego?
Okay, on all platforms, Instagram, Brian Nyambego, Facebook, Brian Nyambego, LinkedIn, Brian Nyambego, on X, Brian Nyambego, everywhere, even on Google, you can just search my name. Yeah, it's Brian Nyambego. Yeah.
So that is where we can also find your merchandise, your books.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Mostly on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Asante sana.
We have a fans segment in our show.
Okay.
And the fun segment is people get to sing, regardless of
wow. Okay, I can sing. I think I can sing.
So regardless of whether you can sing or not, it doesn't count. So I don't know whether you have a childhood song, or a song that you're singing right now. Then you sing to our audience. Masi line moja. Now we got you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a song that I can be able to sing.
Yes.
I think the only song I can sing is I don't even know where. Nitajaribu tu penye nitafika. Ni ya Israel Mbonyi, Nina Siri. I think
Buimba. Ndakusaidia.
Nina Siri naye Yesu. Yanifanya niwe jasiri. So from there now. Yeah, from there I think it's
what do you think Nina Siri means? Kuna watu wanafikiria Israel Mbonyi alikuwa anasema them and God they have a secret. Lakini kuna wengine wanajua inamaanisha he has found peace in the fact that with God ako sawa. What do you think?
I think for me, Nina Siri means it's like there are those moments where you usually have a conversation just you and God alone. Kuna vitu zenye mtu ajuangi like ni wewe na God. Unaona, there's a statement I usually tell people, ama maybe naweza andika mahali, God vile tulibonga. Like the conversation I had with God is not the same conversation I had with everyone else. So I think for me it's that moment that
In
means
hiyo intimacy.
nina siri,
Oh, okay, sawa
nina
sawa.
siri na Yesu.
So thank you so much, Brian, for
Asante.
coming to Chronicles La Familia.
Asante.
I have enjoyed our conversations
Me too.
and and I am grateful, and you have given me hata mimi umeni-encourage.
Asante.
That dreams are unbreakable.
Yeah, they are.
For me, that is a take home.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Asante.
Okay.